What is up, people? If you're here for our pelvic floor rebuild challenge with Blue Chip Athletic Club. Today we're going to be talking through a 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off for 3-round warm-up, and then the same thing for the work. What you're going to need, some sort of a mat and then an elevated bench. You can either have a bench, coffee table, something like that just gets you off the ground. So first movement we're going to do is a walkout. Basically all you're going to need to do is stand shoulder width apart. Bend down like you're going down to touch your toes, and then walk your hands out as far as your mobility allows. If you're feeling froggy, you can throw a push-up in at the bottom, and then walk your hands all the way back up, stand all the way up, and you'll just repeat the pattern for all 45 seconds at your own pace. Remember, these aren't a race. It's just about getting your body kind of primed and ready for movement. After that, we're going to move into the squat to stand. So what you're going to need to do, notice how I've got my hood on today? It's because my hair reminds me of reminds my wife, who then told me about it, that I'm the heat miser. Maybe I'll pick stitch a picture of him over here so you could see and verify. Next thing is going to be a squat to stand. So what you're going to do, go ahead and have your feet shoulder width apart. You're just going to squat your butt down. Try and keep your hands either blanketing your feet or on the floor. And then you can shoot your butt up in the air. This is all just about your butt going up and down, working through whatever range of motion you can get and warming your hips up. And again, you work through the full 45 seconds. You'll take 15 seconds off. Next one's going to be an assisted cross-axe squat. For this, you'll have your legs just outside of shoulder width. What you're going to do is just kind of lunge down to the side. And now all I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk my hands side to side and stretch out the inner part of my leg. So I'm basically just going to walk side to side for the full 45 seconds on. Ooh, baby. And then 15 seconds off. After that, we're going to go into our Spider-Man steps with a hamstring stretch on the right side and the left side. So to do this effectively, we're basically going to get into an up plank, and then I'm just going to shoot my right leg up by my right hand. And at this point, you can kind of get some circles in if you want to, whatever kind of feels good on this side. When you've had enough, there's a couple different options. First option is you can kind of just straighten your leg and bring your chest down over your right leg that's up front, which is going to give you a little stretch in the hamstrings, and then floss forward and back. Or if you're so inclined, you can plant your back leg and you can kind of just lay back and then allow yourself to floss between forward and back. It's going to get your hamstrings a bit and then your hips a bit too. So again, if you want a little couple hip circles, plant the knee, work your way back, and then after the 45 seconds on, we'll switch sides. Now my left leg's up. Ooh, baby. And then again, I'll plant, bring my chest down towards my left knee now. A couple hip circles. If you want to do the standing variation, this is it. Just keeping the back leg off the ground, and you'll floss forward and back to warm up the hips. So once you're done with that first one, you'll go through 2 more cycles to complete our warm-up. And we're going to roll right into the work now. So work section is going to be 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off, 3 rounds of a hip flexor hover to an abduction, glute bridge with a hamstring walkout, and then an elevated side plank on the right and left side. So starting with the hip flexor hover, you're going to go ahead and take to the floor. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hug my left leg in nice and tight. And my right leg is now going to be out in front. I'm going to point the toe, pick the foot up, and then I'm going to try and bring my leg as far out to the outside as I can. And I'm basically just going to work this pattern, almost drawing like a straight line for all 45 seconds. You should feel this in your hip flexors. If you're not, squeeze your leg tighter, lean forward. Try to not lean back a ton because this is working more just of the core. If you lean up nice and tall, you'll feel this in the hip flexor a bunch. Sorry, I'm not pointing my toe. After the first 45 seconds, we'll switch sides. I may have to scoot. Again, nice and tight with the leg. Point the toe. And this hip flexor, I think, is a bit stronger, so I can pick it up a bit higher. And I'll work through the full 45 seconds on. After that's done, I'll take my 15 seconds off, and then I'm gonna roll into my glute bridge and hamstring walkout. So I'm gonna lay back onto the ground, plant my feet. Next thing I'm gonna do is get myself into this glute bridge position, elevate the hips. I'm nice and flat in this pattern. And now, excuse me, I'm gonna walk my heels as far as I can out. So I'm just gonna take little baby steps as far as my body allows. For some of us, that might be here. For some of us, we may be able to get all the way out. Notice how my butt's still off the floor. And then I'm gonna walk my heels all the way back in, keeping my butt off the floor the whole time. And I'll work for the full 45 seconds on and 15 seconds off, all the way through my full range of motion. And then, after we finish those walkouts, we're gonna go into the side planks. So we take our 15 seconds off and we'll pop into the side plank. So for this, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hover my lower leg. So my right arm is on the ground, my left leg is on the bench, and I'm basically just gonna pop up and I'm gonna use my inner leg to hover that bottom leg here. If you want to, you can bring it up into kind of a knee retracted position, or you can leave it out straight and you'll just hold for as long as you can. We may not last the full 45 seconds, that's okay. Pop down, gather yourself, pop back up, get back in the fight, and then we'll hold for the full 45. After that 45 is up, we'll switch sides. You're gonna have a nice view of my ass here. So here we go, right leg's up, left leg's gonna be under, and now I'm just coming up and hovering for the full 45 seconds. Again, if you can't make it through the whole thing, that's okay. We're gonna go through all 5 of those moves, 45 seconds on, 15 seconds off, 3 rounds. Good luck. Let me know how you guys do. Moving back in, pelvic rebuild. See you guys.